Race 3 for Ultimate GT Sprint Cup about to get underway, and you won't believe it, but the weather has come into foray once again. 4 minutes ago until the start, and it has started raining once again. And that, of course, played quite a big role in how race number 2 played out earlier today. Once again, it'll be Amaury Bonduel's BDR Group Competition Mercedes starting on pole position, this time with Kevin Parsons, Racing Spirit of Le Mans at Ferrari starting alongside him, then Olivier Morahan in the Chevrolet Corvette, Eric Mouet, and then Olivier Morahan, Alfredo Hernandez and Lorenzo Montiero on row 3, Solan Rouge and Cesar van der Westen on row 4, then Patrick Michelier and Francesco Croissant on row 5, Benoît Detou and Jeremy Falligand on row 6, Philippe Thalamy, Christophe Weber, Jules Doncio, Pierre Aru, Jean-Pierre Ancelin and Francois Denis. Although Jean-Pierre Ancelin not taking the start for this one, so we're down to 17 cars on the grid. The race earlier today was a very tight affair between Lyle Schofield's SR and R Ferrari 488 Challenge and the 2B Autosport Porsche 992 Cup car of Carl van der Westen. Carl won on the road, but it was Lyle who was successful owing to the success penalties that silver class drivers have to take in this championship, Carl being one of them. And so it was only it was half a second as they came across the timing line between those two cars in what was a very enthralling battle where teams gambled on slicks, teams gambled on wets. Some teams came into the pits in the middle of the race for a pit stop and a change of tyres. And Claire is downstairs with Cesar van der Westen.
I am indeed here, just at car number 14. I'm going to move his engineer out the way. So sorry. Hi, Cesar. How you doing? How you feeling?
Good. A bit stressed with the rain, but I feel good, and I'm trying to do my best. So I'm concentrating on my race right now.
Okay, talk to me about the stress of the rain then. Why is this causing more stress? You've got wets on. Are we thinking it's going to be a completely wet race?
Yeah, it will be, I think, for sure. When we look at the weather and everything, for sure it's supposed to rain during the race, so it's a good idea to put the rain tire.
How nervous were you when your brother Carl was out there? One on the road, you got second on the podium as well. You must have been really proud of him.
I'm very proud of my brother. He did such a good race and he's always doing better, so I'm very proud of him.
So how are we going to approach this race then? Is it a tricky track when it gets a bit wet out there? We saw the single seaters sliding around a bit.
I don't really know, so I'm just being careful and take pleasure, and we'll see where I'm finishing.
We're always happy when you guys take care out there. So have a good race.
Thank you.
Right, as you can see, Chris, I'm not going to say the words, but it's starting to rain again. The Sprint Cup seemed to make the rains happen, and it's happening again. My umbrella's going to go up very shortly, so I think we should get this race underway.
Thank you, Claire. Cesar starting from 8th position, Porsche Cup pole as well. As the grid is being cleared. So, yeah, interesting to hear about the wet tyres being used, because it's literally only just started raining and the track can't be really all that wet still, though the single seaters that are out just now are still running on wet tyres. And they're expecting more rain by the sounds of it as well. And there we can see the grooved tyres is the order of the day. So let's go over the grid in just a little bit more detail. Amaury Bonduel, the BDR Group Competition Mercedes AMG GT3. Amaury aiming for a move further into GT3 competition. This is his first weekend in GT3, having been one of the fastest drivers in Super Trofeo Europe in the last couple of years. Kevin Parsons starting alongside him. Now, the 91 was driven by Frederic Lacour in race 2 and will be for race 4 a little bit later on. He took that car to the overall podium in the earlier race. It is the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari. And he'll be hoping for better luck than what he had in yesterday's race 1, where he picked up a puncture quite early in the race. On the second row of the grid, we have Eric Mouet. That's the UCS2 class pole position. That is largely Super Trofeo cars, but also GTX machinery, and that is very much the Ginetta number 12 CMR car that Eric is driving there. It's a further development of the G56 platform. And then Olivier Morahan in the JRM Racing Run Chevrolet Corvette as we get going for the formation lap. Just about, yep, green flag being waved, and Anne-Marie Bonduel leads them onto the formation lap. Alfredo Hernandez is Eric Mouet's class rival in the second of the BDR cars, but that's the Lamborghini Super Trofeo in 5th position. Lorenzo Montiero in the 333 car. That won its class in race 1 earlier with Lorenzo at the wheel, and was also on the podium earlier in the day with Harry Walker, the rookie, in the car. That's Solon Amrouche, starting in 7th position. She's also in the UCS3 category aboard the Vortex 1.0, so that's the first generation of the Vortex cars. Then it's Cesar van der Westen on Porsche Cup pole, that car that won on the road in race 2 earlier with Carl at the wheel, and Patrick Michelier and Francesco Corazon, two S3 class cars, with the 73 coming from CMR, whereas the 353 is the car that Lyle Schofield won the earlier race in. Then we move on to the UCS4 cars. That is GT4 machinery. So that's Bondouin Detu in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin Vantage. That starts on class pole there, ahead of Jeremy Falligand, who has a disappointing qualifying 1 after damaging the car. He did make up great progress in race 2 earlier today, but has a slightly lowly grid position after dropping the car in Q1 at the Nord Curve, the first corner. And so there's a new right rear corner on the Spa-Biz Porsche. The UCS Light, behind him, another of the GT4 cars, which is Philippe Thalamy. He has got back-to-back victories in the UCS4 class so far this weekend in the speed car Audi R8 GT4. Then we come to the UCS Light cars, and it is Christoph Weber in the Pegasus Racing Ligier JS2R ahead of the midget from driver Jules Danciot, who's won in class both times so far this weekend. Pierre Aru, who has been on the UCS4 podium twice already this weekend. There'll be a gap where Jean-Pierre Ancelin's Porsche should be, and then at the back of the grid, the Ginetta GT4 car from Speed Car of Francois Denis, who has also been on the podium in his class so far this weekend in race number 1. But the cars lining up in 2x2 formation, everybody on wet tyres, so no disparity in the rubber for this race, unlike in race 2 where we had drivers on a mix of slicks and wets, and some people even opting to change tyres mid-race. So it'll be fair game. Safety car peels into the right-hand side, and it's the gold Mercedes AMG GT3 on pole position that will be on the left-hand side as we look at it. The blue and yellow Racing Spirit of Le Mans car of Kevin Passer starting alongside him as we go green for race number 3. Bonduel leads into the first corner, and it is Alfredo Hernandez getting the jump and getting himself up into 3rd position already, as wide goes the Lorenzo Montiero car, I believe it was, from 6th position into the first corner. So a little bit of shuffling as they make their way into turn 2 for the first time. It's Bonduel leading the way, and he won race 1 quite convincingly. He was about a minute clear of the rest of the field in the dry on Friday afternoon, but had a slightly more difficult time as he was one of the cars that started on wet tyres and had to make a change to slicks later in the race, and also picked himself up a penalty. But Cesar van der Westen round at the hairpin, skates across the track, but luckily does not pick up anyone else. And the car that won on the road in the earlier race today is now facing the wrong way on the first lap of the race. So I wonder what happened there. Was there any contact, or did Cesar just drop it on his own? And is he able to get that car going again is the question. I mean, he is pretty far out of harm's way there. But a bit of drama on the opening lap as Cesar van der Westen drops the car at turn 6 on the first lap of the race. Where you see Amaury Bonduelle stretching his legs. Here we're going to see it again. Oh, he's so close to clipping the Ferrari in front of him, the SR&R car. I couldn't quite see if there was contact that initiated that spin, but an incident at turn 6 has been noted, so that does kind of infer that there was potentially contact there, as we see Solon and Rouge in the vortex trying to get up Eric Mouet in the middle of the Sachs curve, and the Lorenzo Montiero car trying to follow his way through as well. As Cesar does get going again out of turn 6, but he is absolutely plumb last. But that does mean we have green flags all around the circuit. He'll certainly be hoping for a safety car to bring him back into play, but very disappointing start to this race for Cesar van der Westen. Solon Amrouche there we saw making a bid for 4th position in the Sachs curve, and Lorenzo Montiero followed her through into 5th position, so Eric Mouet down to 6th. We see green flags waving at the exit of turn 2, and I thought we saw a car go off, and it's Solon Amrouche, and she has hit the left rear corner there. You can see it's pointing very much askew. The bodywork damage there as well, so I can only assume that happened at turn 1. See the dirt she's brought onto the racetrack as well. Not been the best of weekends for Solon Amrouche, unfortunately. She picked up a time penalty for contact with Cesar van der Westen in race 1 yesterday, and now has hit the barriers in race 3 here by the looks of it. So yellow flags are out at turn 1. Not much concern to Amaury Bonduelle, who's 4 seconds clear of Kevin Parser. And we do have a safety car. The safety car has been deployed to pick up Solon Amrouche's stricken vortex machine. Oh, and somehow Eric Mouet, presumably before the safety car board was out, has managed to drop the car on the exit of turn number 8 in the Ginetta GTX. So maybe a bit more water down there than the rest of the circuit. So there we can see the marshals attending to Solon's car. And Amaury Bonduelle has caught the safety car now, so his 6.5 second lead has been eradicated. Kevin Parser will be on his back tail. This will be great news for Alfredo Hernandez to see if they can make it another BDR competition 1-2, as it was in race 1. And of course that will put Lorenzo Montiero much closer to his class leader as well. I say Montiero is very punchy in the earlier laps, but Kevin Parser doing a cracking job in the opening stages to stick ahead of the Super Trofeo behind him. Kevin Parser, who is no stranger to the Ultimate Cup Championship, has raced a Porsche in the series last year. There we see, Solon Amrouche still being attended to. So under safety car conditions then, it's Amaury Bonduelle who leads, Kevin Parser in second in the lead in the UCS3 category, Alfredo Hernandez in the lead of UCS2, and then the Ferrari Challenge class battle continues behind him with Lorenzo Montiero and Francesco Croissant, the two SR&R cars line astern. Jeremy Falligand has made up great progress in the 415 machine. He is 6th from 12th. And so we know that car had a bit more pace in it than its qualifying position suggested. As we mentioned, it had a bit of a drama on the at turn 1 during Q1. And the new right rear corner on that car, and a bit of gaffer tape as well for good measure. And so it has made out good progress. Patrick Michelier just behind him in the CMR Ferrari 488 Challenge. And then Baudouin Detu in the GC4 lead. Christoph Weber still holding the UCS Light lead as well in the Pegasus Racing Ligier. Great to have Pegasus Racing with us, really. And they're also competing in the GT endurance race as well. Anthony Nara and Julian Schell in a Super Trofeo. But it's Christoph Weber, the 49-year-old from Strasbourg, who is in the JS2R, a car he's very familiar with, having competed in the Ligier European Series with Pegasus. A team that is very closely linked with the French manufacturer, having helped with the development of the JS49. It was the first year of the car's development. They raced in the V2V series and one of the first teams to get a JS2R in 2019 as well. So looking to strengthen those ties, which is often what we see with teams in the Ultimate Cup, such as like CMR and Ginetta, for example, who are not only developing the G56 GTX in this race, but also their new LMP3 car, which we'll see out in just a little bit for qualifying for the European Endurance Prototype Cup, 4-hour race to come tomorrow as well. Putting the Vortex behind the barriers on the inside of turn number 1. A fan favorite car, of course, a GTX machinery that has won at the Dubai 24 hours, I believe, if memory serves correctly. Certainly competed in the Dubai 24 hours and various other Creventic races. Class wins in Spanish GT for sure with Solon at the wheel. She's been with the team since middle of 2022. So we're just waiting, I think, safety car lights are off by the looks of it. So we should be, yes, safety car will be coming in this lap. And we'll get this race back underway with around 16 minutes left on the clock. Of course, great news for Cesar van der Westen. He's been able to catch up back to the safety car queue, but maybe not great in terms of the silver class drivers, because they do have to take penalties compared to their bronze or amateur rivals. And this safety car won't be really helping them in that regard. It's why Carl didn't, although he won on the road, didn't actually win on the timing line. And Amaury Bonduelle is leaving this very late indeed to go green. Has he got a problem, I wonder? No overtaking until the timing line. And you see, that's really bunched them up. But, well, okay, now, well, he's got it going again. Very odd restart there from Amaury Bonduelle. But it's worked. He's still leading. Kevin Parser in second position, and Alfredo Hernandez. Well, I thought Hernandez would be looking for a way through into second place, but actually Kevin Parser looks like more of the aggressor at the moment. But now that AMG GT3 will stretch its legs on the Parabolica, heading up towards turn 6. You see still a couple of grooves in the rain being carved by these cars. And look at Lorenzo Montiero in the SR&R Ferrari. The SR&R cars looks like they've already been split by Jeremy Falligand, who's made his way up into 5th position. So that's Francesco Quasin, who he's just passed there. Of course, now in the Porsche Cup lead. Oh, a little bit of a slide there under braking for Amaury Bonduelle. This is his GT3 debut. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, looking for a more permanent home in GT3 competition. Had his first win yesterday. His first wet GT3 race this morning, and now he's got his second one here. We'll see if he can pull enough of a gap to hang on to the overall lead with his penalty. He's been coming in for drive-throughs to serve his one. Oh, and he's skating off the road. There's absolutely no grip at all in the drag strip that acts as the runoff area for the circuit races here. But he did just manage to gather the Mercedes up and hang on to the lead. So you can't say he's not pushing out there. 13.5 minutes left on the clock. And Henry Bondwell, it's not all nice and cozy for him. Although that being said, he did do the fastest lap of the race last time around, somehow, which I think must mean it's drying up a fair bit out there, actually, because we saw him have a couple of moments. And he also started the lap way slower than he would have been, because he left it until the actual timing line to get the race back underway again. Cesar van der Westen trying to get himself back through the pack. He's already up into 10th position overall. That's Christoph Weber in the Pegasus Racing Ligier JS2R that he's about to round up. You see the speed difference there between the 4-litre flat 6 in the Porsche against the Ford V6 in the Ligier. 350 horsepower versus 520 odd. So that engine may well be based on Ligier's Le Mans winning car from 1975, but doesn't quite go the same speed. So that's Van der Westen up into 9th position. Next car up the road is the UCS4 race leader, which is Bandouan Detu in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin Vantage Evo. That car managed to burn its own back end off in race number 1, as we see Cesar making the move into the stadium section for 9th position. But that Racing Spirit of Le Mans car, what we assumed was damage from being hit up the rear end, was actually the exhaust burning its own bodywork. And really did mark off what was quite a really terrible race for Racing Spirit of Le Mans yesterday, with also Kevin Passer's Ferrari getting a puncture as well. But it's all looking well at the moment, with Kevin Passer currently in 2nd position. So 3.9 seconds is Henry Bondwell's advantage. And then we could see Eric Mouet trying to make up ground as well after his spin at turn 8, just before the safety car was called. So he's going to try and make the move here down the inside. No, can't find a way through on Christoph Weber there. That CMR Ginetta. CMR and Ginetta working very hard, as we mentioned, to develop the LMP3 car, but also this G56 platform as well. It's a step beyond GT4, and it's had proven reliability in various 12 and 24-hour races with the Creventic series. Did win the Dubai 24 Hours in its class, as it goes to the outside of turn number 6 on the JS2R. We've got the Audi behind him as well, of Philippe Thalamy, 2nd in UCS4. And that gets the move done before turn 7, does Eric Mouet there. So he's cleared Christoph Weber through into 10th position. Ginetta has often used the Ultimate Cup for its other programs. I mentioned the LMP3, mentioned this car. The GT4 Evo also made its global race debut with the Ultimate Cup in 2023 in Magny-Cours, and won on its first public race appearance, and in the hands of Eric Mouet as well, who's multiple VDV champion in Endurance GT and GT Tourism as well. A GT3 class champion of the series as well. So it's in good hands. Right, message on the timing screen. Rain reported at turn 6. That's the biggest stop on the track. It's the hairpin that Alfredo Hernandez is just working his way towards now. And yeah, we can even see it on the screen. It is getting significantly heavier there. So the weather that Cesar van der Westen predicted on the grid, talking to Claire before we got going, has very much arrived. Alfredo Hernandez still running in third position here, 2 seconds or so behind Kevin Passer, who was very much threatening a podium position in race number 1 before his puncture, but right now splitting the 2 BDR competition cars. Lorenzo Montiero not quite sticking with this battle as well. He's 4.4 back from them, with Philippe Thalamy in 11th position in the speed car Audi R8 is leading quite a few cars at the moment. There he is, and we can see the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin GT4, which is now got Eric Mouet for close company. Should be a relatively simple pass. Of course, the G56 started life as a GT4 car, similar to the Aston in front of it, but has been heavily modified. Slippery surface, flag out on the track, so the drivers are probably well aware of the weather. They've got the wipers going. Giving that runoff area between turns, the penultimate and the final corner, quite a wide berth, turns 16 and 17. I see just behind them, Jules Dancio and Francois Denis are quite close together as well. Now here comes Eric Mouet on the inside, very much on the inside. Left a lot of space for the Aston Martin on the left. Mouet goes through. And so that's 9th position ahead of Baudouin Detu. Baudouin, the Luxembourg-based Frenchman, who is a new addition to the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team, having done all of his GT4 competition with GPA racing through French GT4 and the GT4 European Series as well, but making a mid-season switch from GPA over to Racing Spirits of Le Mans. Made his debut for the team supporting the centenary of the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa at the end of last month, and that all part of a longer-term project to utilize the team's racing ladder and hopefully for him end up at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the LM GT3 category. Roberto Faria, his teammate in the GT4 European Series, also making that same move as well. We saw the Brazilian out in Le Castellet back in March. We see Cesar van der Westen here sharing the car with his brother Carl, as they will be in the GT Endurance race tomorrow as well. They've got qualifying for that coming up a little bit later on today as well. 25 minutes past 5, that is due to get going. Both joining the Ultimate Cup Series from the Roscar GT Challenge, which Carl was twice champion in the last 2 years. Started the series as 2 separate entries in the GT Sprint. It was Cesar in the older 991.2 car. Arriving here 3rd in the Porsche Cup category, and has currently got himself up into 8th position after that first lap spin at turn 6. Still don't know yet whether he was properly pushed into that or if he jumped. So we're seeing that Alfredo Hernandez has picked up a 30-second time penalty for crossing the pit exit line I'm not sure when he would have been into pit lane, really. So not quite sure why that is the case. Well, hopefully we'll get more details later on. But, of course, that's quite a hefty penalty because that will drop the 77 quite dramatically. Now, there we saw Amaury Bonduelle. He'd just come through pit lane there, serving his silver class penalty. We can see the rain really is hammering down that. So that has put Kevin Parser into the lead of the race. Bonduelle was 12 seconds clear. The question is, in the remaining might be 2 or 3 laps, can Bonduelle make his way through? He's there in 3rd position. He's got his teammate ahead of him in the Super Trofeo car. Could be quite a tall order for the Belgian-born Frenchman. You see, he's still wringing the neck of that Mercedes-AMG GT3, having a little wobble through turn number 7. Rather stunning livery on that car, but he's already on the back of his teammate Alfredo Hernandez, and might well make his way through on the exit here. No, not quite. This is the battle for 2nd position. You barely see the cars. Thank goodness they're gold, because they are shining up quite nicely. Alfredo Hernandez has gone for a spin at turn number 12 and into the gravel trap. And you see just how wet it was going into the stadium section, so the Mexican off the road. And if we have a safety car intervention or indeed a red flag, then that will be called early. And, of course, that will be bad news for Amaury Bonduelle, because he won't get a chance to try and take the win away. So we do have yellow flags out at turn number 12. And see the back end of the Lamborghini just got away from him, and he spun up the rear wheels, but is absolutely beached in that gravel trap. So there's the gap between Kevin Parser and Amaury Bonduelle, 2.5 seconds with 1 lap remaining. So here we're going to see the Hernandez spin again. You see, even Bonduelle had his own moment there. It looked like you could barely even see where the track is supposed to be. It's so wet. I thought they both went a bit wide, but I could barely see where the white line was. Yeah, treacherous conditions now by the looks of it. We still have those yellow flags waving in the final sector, and it looks like, well, we're on to the last lap, so it is just going to stay there. The drivers know it's there, and so they will have to hold station through turn 12 at the very least. But this is for the lead of the race. Kevin Parser in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge, trying to fend off the charging BDR competition Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Amaury Bonduelle. And surely Bonduelle's going to start running out of corners again, snaking his way through turn number 7, that high-speed right-handed kink that normally you would consider to be flat out, but definitely not in these conditions, as Parser himself has a little wiggle out of turn 8 and into 9. And they're coming up to the yellow flag zone now, so there'll be no passing through here. And Kevin Parser, he's trying to get it stopped himself, but he can barely keep it on the road. Neither of them can. And see, we saw the flash of gold there, the Hernandez car that's stuck in the gravel trap. And so it could be Kevin Parser here, unless he has a moment in these last couple of corners. Kevin Parser, who had a puncture early on in race number 1 and was so disappointed with the result. Looks like it's going to be overall victory here for the number 91 Racing Spirit of Le Mans car. It's the Frenchman, Kevin Parser. Well, unless Bonduelle can out-drag him towards the timing line, I don't think he's going to be able to, though, and it will be Kevin Parser in race number 3 of the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup in Hockenheim, who takes the overall victory ahead of Amaury Bonduelle. Great end to the race there, as the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team are victorious in race number 3, and the thumbs up out of the window to Amaury Bonduelle. Third across the line is Lorenzo Monsiero, and keeps SR&R on the overall podium, second in his class as well. This is Cesar van der Westen, who will come home in 7th position by the looks of it, as his class rival Jeremy Falligan has crossed the line in 4th. Francesco Coursan making it another double SR&R podium in the UCS3 category with 5th position. Cesar van der West in there in 6th. Patrick Michelier in the 73 CMR Ferrari in 7th. Eric Mouet will now take the UCS2 win despite his spin, because Hernandez was in the gravel. So in 8th position, the Ginetta will make it a second victory, back-to-back victories in his class when he eventually gets over the line. As we see Hernandez's car, that's a sorry state for a Lamborghini Super Trofeo car, sadly. Philippe Thalamy in the number 300 speed car Audi R8 has made it a triple in UCS 4. Oh, and off the road there was Christoph Weber. Now he hasn't made it across the line yet, and that car was leading his class most of the race, but on the last lap here, by the looks of it, has spun round going into turn 12. That did look like the most treacherous part of the racetrack, and his class rival, Jules Doncio, in the drive-in midget Super T, has just crossed the line to take the class win. And so that's disappointing for Christoph Weber, who looked like he was on course for victory there. But in UCS 4, further behind, Francois Denis once again on the podium. It's his second podium finish of the weekend in his class aboard the speed car. Sorry, the speed car Ginetta GT4. Now we're seeing Christoph Weber under investigation for an escape road infringement. So I imagine that's what happened down there at turn number 12. Completing the podium in UCS 4 was Baudouin Detu in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin GT4, but also for Racing Spirit of Le Mans, Kevin Pasha into Parc Ferme, pulling up in position 1. So it's double delight for Racing Spirit of Le Mans in this race, but overall victory after their overall podium finish in race 2 yesterday at the hands of Frederic Lacour. Now Kevin Pasha a victor overall, and it's our 3rd different winner in as many races so far this weekend. And 3 very different races we've had. We've had all dry, we've had mixed, and then we had, well, sodden. So hopefully we'll be able to hear from Kevin in a little bit. You see, yeah, there's Claire getting her way in there. As the other cars are pulled into Parc Ferme. One more race this weekend for the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. It's how we will round out the day here in Hockenheim at 20 minutes past 7 local time for the 4th and final 25-minute race of the weekend. Hopefully conditions improve a little bit before we go racing for that one. And of course the prototype guys are going to be going out in this in a few minutes, but might be a delay to the session with Alfredo Hernandez just still in the gravel trap there, as we saw. And Claire has found our race winner, Kevin Parson.
I have indeed. Congratulations. It was tight there at the end, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you. It was very cool. The weather is very wet. I like so much wet. So for me, it's a perfect day.
So when the rain started coming down, you were actually pretty happy about that?
Yes, I'm very happy. The team is very good, very good work.
Coming into the race, did you think you were able to get the overall win?
When I come on the race? No, I don't know. For me, it's the first time with the car, first time on the track, and I'm very happy.
You've never been to this track before, and you just won on your first time?
Yes, it's my first time, yes.
What was it like out there? Did you enjoy it as a track?
Yes, the track is very cool. All is perfect. German track was very good.
and you were battling with one of the biggest contenders in this championship. You must be very proud of yourself to win.
Yes, the organization is very cool and all is perfect. Never change.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Great, our winner there. As you can see, it is starting to rain pretty heavily down here. He's dropped his balaclava, don't worry, he's picked it up. It is raining pretty heavily down here, so we might see a little delay to qualifying for the prototype coming up next, but make sure you stick on the feed because we will have qualifying ahead of the main event for tomorrow. Stay with us.
Well, let's take a look back at the highlights from race 3.
We gonna